Hey, welcome back to Bible and Blues, and we are doing an auto restoration story. We have the lovely Teresa
Hello.
with us today, and she's going to talk about what's the project today.
Sanding and painting, and we're gonna throw in a flywheel replacement as well.
Yay! Okay, so let's get off our thumbnail image here that we use. So everybody rather look at cars in my ugly mug.
That's true. So back in August of 2015, we moved back home to Seattle area, and we decided, well, both my boyfriend and I are both working, and we both need a car, and I'm gonna be doing some major restoration to my Firebird, so we need a second vehicle. So here you go, 2013 Hyundai Elantra. I don't remember how many thousands of miles on it, used, but not overly. So it's a good car. This is literally right outside the Chevy dealership that we bought it from, and can't see it here, but my car had a flat tire, so as soon as we bought the Elantra, we used the spare pump in the Elantra to pump up the tire in the Firebird.
So instead of coming with a spare tire, the Elantra came with this little pump thing.
God.
And did it have sealer in it?
It has tire goo in it.
It was a tire goo. It was your basic, fix a flat stuff, and it was approved, to go in the Hyundai. And so here's the funny thing. I was under the general impression that at this point in time they were considering trading in the Firebird.
Never.
And obviously not, or we wouldn't have a story here.
No.
But so obviously, the first thing you have to do after you buy this, nice car, 2016, isn't it?
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
A Hyundai Elantra. First thing you have to do is fix the flats
On the Firebird.
on the Firebird, which is winking at us. I've never seen this car not winking. Just FYI. It has problems with the motors.
That motor's dead.
That motor's dead. So we'll get into that at another time.
Yes.
Because there's stuff like that. Did you want to run the mouse here?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Go to the next picture.
Let's get into this. Double click?
Yeah, double click. There you go.
There we go. So this is finally getting ready to sand and paint my car and trying to figure out how far the rust, as you can see up here, rust, actually goes. So I took part of the hood and started sanding it. Surprisingly, doesn't go that far. That's actual good metal underneath all the primer and all the rust.
Predominantly surface rust.
Predominantly surface rust.
Okay.
Which is good. And that's about just starting. Most of that was accomplished with a hand sander. So either a 7-inch, a 6-inch, or a 5-inch, depending on the different, angles. And there it is. Almost done. These little spots in here in the actual designs of the hood, because I can't think of anything right now. Those were actually those around the headlights, up on the edges, probably within an inch of the edge of the hood. And yes, I am doing this while it's still on my car, because this is still, this is basically completed in one weekend. Essentially started at about 7 o'clock in the morning, didn't finish until dark.
And you're still driving it, too.
And I'm still driving it. So I had a weekend to get my hood sanded all the way down to bare metal. Whatever bodywork had to be done, which thankfully on the hood wasn't much, primered, and then leave it in primer for a couple months. Because, why not?
Primer's cool.
Yeah. And that's the hood, completely sanded.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, dark spots, but those are just, that's because I haven't washed it off yet. Got the cardboard on the window, so all the little bits that we're sanding off don't damage my window any more than it already was. Mm-hmm. And that's the roof of the car, and that is pretty much before I hit it with a sander. That's what it looked like. I don't know if this car spent half the car was underneath an overhang and half the car wasn't. But
Yeah, it's quite the fine line there.
yes, half the
Well,
roof.
that red is actually, that's a primer.
Yeah.
Somebody had done this same thing that you were doing and stopped at primer. So, without
Yeah.
clear coating it.
Yeah, without clear coating it afterwards.
So, you know, this is the result of this vehicle's patina is what you get when you don't, you know, when you just primer the car and then drive it around for the next 10, 12, 14 years.
In a very salty environment because you're a mile from the ocean.
Yeah. So.
And then here we are getting ready to paint the hood, so taping everything off. I kind of missed a couple spots on the headlight, and yeah, see, look, both headlights are actually down.
Hand actuated.
Yep, they go down mechanically.
So.
And then just for fun, half the hood. And yeah, there's kind of some tiger striping. That's only like the first coat of primer. And we're rattle canning at this point because I'm cheap.
Didn't quite understand the real need for better equipment.
No. It's primer. We're good.
It's primer, sure.
Yeah. I still wasn't sure if I was actually painting my own car or not. I was just trying to get it to not rust out on me and figure out what the damage was.
Well, you did go from one marine environment to one that was not quite as marine.
Yeah.
We're a few more miles from the ocean, but, you know.
It still rains.
Yeah.
And this one, sitting there painting, 7 o'clock at night, and I ran out of primer. And that's what I had. I actually, and my boyfriend was off doing something else, so no vehicle, because I'm not driving this. It's already clean, primed, cleaned, wiped down, no dust, no nothing. So literally have to walk the 2 miles to the store and back to go pick up 1 can of primer to finish like a quarter can of primer, because I ran out.
Piss poor planning.
You can never have too much primer. And there she is. Yay!
All primered up.
All primered up. At least the hood and the headlights.
And the headlights. Because I remember you were coming over. You're like, let me show you what you got. Let me show you how far I got. Let me show I mean, you still do that to a certain extent. But, I mean, you know, this process.
This was
such a big process.
It was.
For you.
This was such
not just
a huge project.
Did you know, how many cars have you painted prior to this?
None.
Okay, so you're taking on a fairly good sized project. Did you have any idea that this was going to be this big?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing about this project. I remember stating back when I started this thing, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to restore it. It's going to be easy. I've watched all these shows. No problem. I did not know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, you didn't.
No. And then that's the roof again. The black stuff is POR 15. It's a rust inhibitor. Basically, you sand it down, get all the loose stuff off, paint this on it, and it's supposed to chemically change the rust so it's no longer rust. We'll see how well it works. I may eventually be replacing the roof of my car.
So there was more there than, you know.
Fortunately, it actually didn't go all the way through. Those roofs, there's actually 2 layers, so it's not all the way through the second layer. As in, there's no holes.
Okay.
And then that's one side in POR 15, the other side in primer, and that primer is actually probably still wet.
Does look it.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And then, not the greatest picture, because I was dealing with a crappy camera on a phone, and not the greatest phone. Tire roof is done. And then, yay! Hood, roof, and A-pillars all done. And like I said, this took from sanding it all the way down to bare metal to primering it all the way back up and cleaning in between steps and doing all that and the wet sanding and everything. 2 full days. Like 7 a.m. to dark in the middle of July.
It's kind of warm time.
Yeah, it's good though. Paint likes warm.
Yes, it does. Paint likes warm.
Yes.
You were in a Tyvek suit.
Actually for this, no.
No, you weren't. Okay.
No, this was t-shirt and jeans.
Oh, okay.
And I did have a breathing mask and stuff because I like to be able to breathe when I'm older.
It's overrated.
You can see the can of primer.
Yep.
My nice little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
You know, this actually kind of reminds me of is back in the day when I was a kid, we used to work on farms, and one of the things that we would do is maybe we were detasseling corn, maybe we were walking beans. It was just kind of the process of being on a farm. You would buy one pair of jeans for that entire season. Those actually look good compared to that, but yeah.
Those probably by that point actually been washed a couple times. I unfortunately didn't think about it when I was doing the hood to get the first picture of it. This was just kind of like a spur of the moment. Yeah. Hey, let's take a picture.
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah,
okay.
a lot of that happens. There's a fender.
Hey! It's a
sanded fender.
Sanded fender.
Getting around those wheel wells, especially with the tires still on. And yes, I left the panels on the body because... I'm still driving this to and from work.
I think most painters will tell you that's how they do most of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a complete tear down and bring it back up, they're probably usually doing it with. I mean, the hood comes off, the trunk comes off.
They usually, if they're actually doing it, they blow everything off.
Right.
But
yeah. So yeah. Okay.
And then, yay! Look, it's in primer.
It's in primer.
It's starting to almost look a single color, maybe. Almost. It's clean right now.
Oh, yeah. And it's one iron.
That.
So that's a pretty bad rust spot.
That's a pretty bad rust spot. And I'm thinking what happened is somebody, because there's a couple spots on this car that somebody bondoed and didn't know what they were doing. And this is what happens when Bondo, and then you put primer over Bondo. The Bondo's not dry, and the primer likes to suck in moisture. You get this.
I also notice you have this seam here. It's changing how wide it is as you go from north to south on this.
Those fenders are notoriously hard to hang. Those doors are being hung by... GM never thought to actually make, things that hang doors to hang 80-pound doors, hinges. I'll get there eventually. Yeah. So the doors sag, and that's what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
And then just for fun, we're like, well, let's spray some more POR 15 on it. POR 15 is basically it's a 3-step process. There's a cleaner, a metal prep, and then the actual POR 15. And this is metal prep that is supposed to go in and eat all the rust.
Okay.
As you can see, the giant pit holes.
Yeah. You got a little bit of pitting there.
Yes, and the more I sprayed it on, the more it...
There's a fair amount of rust.
Yep. And then POR 15, and I was like, okay, cool. And then, as you see, it's this stuff here, good metal. Bad metal.
Yeah. It's kind of orange peely.
Yeah.
We call it an orange peel texture.
Yeah. It covered up underneath the primer though.
Do you have some overspray there on the fender?
Just a little.
Okay. Oops.
First time I'd done a car, I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So pause for a moment, because the next picture is not going to be paint.
That looks like a U-joint.
That is a U-joint.
Coming out of a transmission.
So in the middle of this, like I said, daily driver, my car starts making this weird sound. Can't figure
As opposed to the other weird sounds it usually makes.
Yeah, this is not a usual... This
Right.
It kind of more or less sounds like rocks in a metal drum. And so I'm sitting there trying to figure it out, keep looking around, finally take it to one of the neighborhood mechanic guys, and he's like, oh, your flywheel is loose or something. Okay, all right, well, how do we fix it? Well, you fix it by taking the entire drivetrain out of your car. Drive shaft. Yay!
Transmission.
Transmission! Getting it out, not so bad. Even though it weighs like 140 some pounds.
So in the process of getting this out.
In the process of getting out, it was putting it back in.
Oh, is that when that happened? Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
I think. Do I have the...
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay. So yes, in the process of getting this out. Not too bad. There's the old flywheel and my car's wonderful ability.
It's ovaling out the holes.
It's ovaling out the holes. I really probably should have just called this car Ovaltine.
It's especially if you look at this one here. Oops, there we go, right there.
Yeah, that's not even oval.
That's the really.
There's like a bump in it.
Yeah, and then this one here, and it ovaled these holes, and once you do that, you not much you can do about it. You can't build the holes back up.
No, you don't weld those back in.
Nope.
So there's what one is supposed to look like.
Yeah, that's the new
See?
one.
Circular. Circular. And then, so in the process of putting it back in, and unfortunately, no, I do not have a picture of this.
It would have been great.
It would have, and I'm not setting it back up to do it. I got lucky. I set the transmission on my hand.
So and I've never been clear about this because you're in the process of putting it back up in, and it dropped, it fell. What?
I had it most of the way back in. I had looked at a couple videos of how to get it back in. Some guy had one of the racing floor jacks like what I have, and he had a block of wood.
Show him your floor jack.
Do I have my floor jack?
Yeah.
Oh no, not that floor jack.
Oh, not that floor jack. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah. So, and he had a block of wood, and basically he was using two jacks simultaneously, one to lift up the front of the transmission, the other to lift up the back, and kind of going up like this and putting it in. That worked pretty decently. And then get the shift linkage attached back to it, and precariously balanced on the wood and the floor jack, and somehow, I still don't know how this happened. I would love to have a video to figure out how this happened. Somehow, my hand got caught in between the transmission, the piece of wood, and the floor jack. So, like, transmission here, my hand, wood, floor jack. And I think the only thing that kept my hand from actually being crushed, like talking medical emergency, was that piece of wood was fairly flat, and the transmission just kind of got set on my... It didn't drop. It didn't, like, fall. It just kind of moved.
Shifted.
Yeah, and my hand got in the way underneath it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Go get yourself one of these things.
Yeah. Yep.
$100, Harbor Freight, transmission jack. Spend the money. Save your appendages. Because that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
That hurt for that whole day. Actually, I think because I had to go to work the next day. I think by the work next day, but I think I still have lasting repercussions.
Transmission on the hand, whatever.
Yeah, you know.
No,
Yeah, at least I remembered
fine.
it. At least I got my ring off before it swelled.
Yeah, you know.
So, yay! There's a transmission going back in. Those jacks are so nice. Even this, it what kind of, like, I'd over tighten it so it would fail on me a couple times, but it did the job that it was supposed to do, and so much easier.
It had operator error here and there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember one of my wrenches was in right there for a long time. It was right there. Holding her shifter together, had to leave my wrench there.
I asked him if it was okay. He said okay.
It was okay. It was just the fact that was the fix at the time.
The fact that it fell out.
No, that's true. It did fall out eventually.
fell out.
At home, too.
Yeah, in my driveway. Thankfully, not, going 50 down a road somewhere and tear out my engine.
You know, this,
Yeah, it would have just, hit
bounced
the
around a little bit.
And it would have hit the transmission pan and pocked a hole in it.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
One more thing. Next thing. Which picture do I want to start with?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's go with this one.
Okay. She bought another car. This one.
Yeah, funny story with this one. So this guy had this car on sale on one of the Firebird sites that I'm part of. Has a 305 in it, blown head gasket. I figured, hey, parts car. He wanted $350 for it. That's for a car with a non-working engine. That's actually pretty decent. So I was like, well, I didn't quite have the money. Well, then I got together with one of my friends, and we went in together on it. All he really wanted out of it was the transmission. I needed it because it's a V8 car, and it had everything that I needed for V6 to V8 swap.
So.
Ooh. And I did not realize until this car was in my driveway. Like, went down, picked it up, towed it home, backed it off the trailer in my driveway, and my brain went, the heck did I do?
Yeah, I can only... and I'm sure Aaron was saying the same thing.
No, Aaron, well, I don't know. He was all for it. I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm paying $300.
It's because you weren't bothering him while working on all this.
And I get it, and he was gonna buy me a fender anyway. So I think he actually even gave me some money to help buy it. So you know, he's cool. Yeah. So maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse. I'm willing to admit I might have a problem.
What year is this one?
This one is an 88.
Okay.
So 3 years newer, still the base model.
Yeah.
But it does have the 145 mile per hour speedometer, and the body at the time was actually fairly decent. Like, I was jumping in between which one was going to be the project car at that point. Unfortunately, I'd kind of already done a lot of work on the other car, so it's kind of too far into that one to give up. But this one's got some nice seats, some great interior. Look at the dash.
I love the speed knob.
Look at that. Oh, yeah, that stupid thing. The speed knob. Yeah, the people that own this before me, they were selling it because they had to pay off some drug debts. Like, not for selling drugs, for getting caught with drugs.
Yeah.
And the only bad part about this car, and the only reason why it stayed as a parts car, the door I could have done.
Yeah.
The door would have been fine. That door on the inside was unsafe to drive. Looked like somebody had taken the jaws of life to it. This part right here is actually structural because they're unibody frames. This dent goes all the way into the actual frame of the car. So
you had a best up frame.
Busted up frame, unibody, and I did steal the hatch off of it because I didn't like the Camaro hatch that was on mine.
Right.
That car, incidentally. Oh, I didn't put that picture on here. Oh well.
We went through that before.
Yeah. And then... because I had to. Oh, I revealed some stuff that I wasn't supposed to, but oh well.
Yeah. Your story.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to at least get it next to its, sister.
Yeah.
This one's Cassandra. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this one's Cassandra, that one's Charlotte.
Okay.
I named her about 2 days after I got her. And she's gone now. I stripped everything off of that car. I sent a frame to the junkyard.
Yeah.
So anybody that needs 3rd gen Firebird parts or Camaro
might have something.
I might have something.
So
now back to the story.
Yep.
If I remember where we left off at. There we go.
Yep.
Yes. The quarter panel.
Yep. The quarter panel.
The quarter panel on the passenger side. What you can't see, and I fortunately do not have a picture of it, somewhere up here when I was sanding is the actual original weld line where they welded the quarter panel to the top of the car. Actually, that was pretty cool. Yeah. I have that picture somewhere, I just don't have it with me. Or on here. Now sanding, and yay, look, somebody bumped a tail. Bondo. That actually surprisingly, except for that spot on the door, I think that was the only other Bondo that was on this
That's
car.
not much.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
car was just half the reason I'm restoring it.
Yeah.
The body is fairly straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liquid metal stuff.
JB Weld.
Different stuff.
Oh, okay.
So then this is the inside. There was a decent, about 3-inch hole that I bondoed, and actually that didn't turn out too bad. I don't have the other picture that is before the Bondo, before I sanded it. I'm not great at Bondo. I don't think anybody is.
Well, you know.
I mean, if you've been doing it for 20 years.
The point of Bondo is you're going to paint it.
Yeah, and this is not only getting painted, it's getting covered.
Yeah.
It's going to be behind headlights or tail lights. And then
Yeah.
yay, see? There's the back of my car and a quarter panel that's painted and the other car sitting in the sun.
Yeah.
You know, being a car. That's a really bad
That's
picture.
a really
of the
bad
door.
picture. Yeah, that's a bad
Wow.
picture of the door. Yeah.
Alright, well, here's what the other door looks like.
Okay.
Including, again, had to hand sand in and around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I taped off my locks. Because, again, like I said, I'm daily drivering it. So, and
So you didn't want to take the tumblers out?
I didn't want to take the locks out.
Right.
Because they're actually really annoying to put back in.
Right.
This putting them in themselves is not. It's getting it to hook up into the door handles.
Mm-hmm.
That's really annoying.
Yeah, the linkage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yay! Look, it's a door. It's starting to almost look like a car. And yes, there's grease all over it because I'm working on my car.
You also did a transmission.
I also did a transmission. I didn't really
Flywheel.
think the grease was going to be that.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
Oh, come on.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, come on now.
Try again.
Try again.
There we go. Yay, there's the other side of the door. Yep, and including mirrors.
Yeah.
Yep. And what? Yay!
And the doors, door handles back on.
Door handles back on that I think I've replaced twice now.
No.
I got the metal ones this time.
Good choice.
And then, not a great picture, and there's smudge.
Yeah.
But it's starting to look all one color.
It's almost there. Every time she
Almost.
would come over, she's like, look, I got another fender done.
Look, I got another panel done. Look, it's almost looking like a car. I might not get pulled over. Oh, let's see. My first foray into actual bodywork.
Yeah, you had that big dent
This is a crease.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was backing out of a Sonic drive-in restaurant. I don't know if we have drive-in restaurants up here, but
Yeah, there's Sonics.
There's
a couple of Sonics.
And he ended up turning the wheel the wrong way and hit the concrete pillar and dented my fender.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same fender that I've already replaced once.
Well, this is one of the reasons why he was willing to help you out with the fender.
Yeah.
It was his fault.
It was his fault.
Yeah.
So I took it, looked at it, wanted to get a picture. That's an actual crease. Let me see if I can find it. That is after I tried the easy hammer on dolly, hammer off dolly. Finally got mad at it, turned it over, took a really big hammer, and just started smacking the hell out of it. And it worked!
Sometimes it's brute force.
And then a little bit of Bondo and...
Finger.
Yeah, finger and a couple spots on the
Lens.
lens. But a little bit of Bondo, a little bit of primer. You can see it now that it's painted.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there, but...
But, yeah.
So.
And then...
Getting
Almost
there.
done.
Almost done.
Getting there.
I see, the front bumper and the back bumper, and that's kind of...
Yep.
You're getting down there.
Yep. Front bumper, back bumper. There's the other side.
We need to get these shots up here soon, aren't we?
Yeah,
No, we'll
yeah.
get those soon. Okay.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting
Okay.
there.
All
I
right.
mean, we can show them. Here, we'll do this. They don't need to see the whole
Yeah. Well, that shot there is pretty good.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
Yeah, because you had both of them laid out there and really close together.
Yeah, there's maybe a good 5 inches between those two bumpers. Like.
Yeah, and you managed to get.
And I managed to get all sides.
So yeah, that's fairly impressive.
And several coats.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now comes almost the unveiling. We're gonna piecemeal this out to you guys.
Yeah.
And yes, she sits high. That is called V8 springs in a V6 car.
Yeah, if she ever gets the engine,
and a headlight that almost wants to close.
It's a lazy eye.
Yeah. It goes down about 2 minutes after I get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I still swear I should have just cleaned it and clear coated it.
You just like that look.
I like that look. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And yeah, she's dirty, so,
Mm-hmm.
And then, for those of you this is me wet sanding it, which is basically dunk the paper in water and wet sand it. And yes, see, safety. The thing that felt like a white marshmallow. When I got done, I felt like a blue marshmallow.
Yeah.
Here's how you know you're getting serious about painting your car: when you tape off the wheels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is your daily driver too. So.
Yeah, this is well, I wasn't gonna pull the wheels off and tape off the brakes and stuff.
What month was this? About November?
This is about November. This is November 23rd. It's all in primer, getting ready to paint.
Almost Thanksgiving.
Almost Thanksgiving. It is probably not even 50 degrees out.
Yeah, and she's getting ready to paint.
And I'm getting ready to paint.
What's the recommended temperature?
Above 70?
Okay. So
nothing below 60?
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, bear in mind the reason you were painting though.
The reason I was painting is y'all have seen all the work I've done. I had to get something over the primer to seal it,
or else it was going to start looking like the old.
It was gonna just rust through again.
Yeah.
I was gonna have to do this all again, and I got a door and a fender I have to do, and I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I had fun. I would have fun if I did it again. Maybe. It started out as every day after work from like 2 o'clock until dark, sanding and primering and yeah. So it kind of snowballed into itself, and then as you got a panel done, you're like, yay, cool, and then you got another panel, you're like, yay, cool. Yeah. All right. Ready?
Okay.
Here's the reveal. Oh, which reveal?
You do that reveal.
Do that reveal?
Yeah, do that reveal first.
Just painted. Literally Thanksgiving Eve, so day before Thanksgiving. Like,
And why did you choose this color? Because I'll be honest with you, this is
Ford blue.
That is Ford blue. This is what you paint your Ford engine block.
Yes. I did not know it was gonna be this color. It didn't look like that at the paint shop. I didn't want to do black because I still had some dents and some dings and some other stuff, and black really shows it. And same thing with going with like white, because I didn't want to have to clean it every freaking day. Although apparently once you have a car painted, you have to clean it every day. Like, it's amazing how dirty this car gets just after being washed. Probably need to wax it, but whatever. No, I was like, okay, and I didn't want to do, like, the lime green, because, oh my god, everybody does lime green. And I'm like, I went with this. It was supposed to be, like, a GTO blue, like a 70s GTO blue, and it turned out Ford blue.
Yeah. It's
okay, though. Not its final color. This is literally keep the work that I did from ruining itself.
Right.
And it looks pretty, and when it's nice and clean, it's shiny, and it hits the sun just right. It pops. It pops.
Now we do still have some work to do.
There's this whole quarter panel is just gonna get replaced.
Which is going to involve cutting and welding.
Cutting and welding, so I'm still debating because I don't know how to weld. I have a friend that's going to teach me, and I think that will be great for doing the holes in the floor and the one in the other side of the quarter panel, but
still want somebody else to do this.
I'm taking that quarter. I'll buy the quarter panel and take it to a shop and pay somebody else the exorbitant price that they want to put it on.
It's worth it.
And cry and be like, I don't have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, if you get that thing off just a little bit, it's gonna look like garbage. The rear hatch will never seal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do like that rear spoiler.
Yeah.
You pulled that from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if I had the chance, it's got the third brake light. If I can figure out how to get it, because I can't actually with this hatch because of the third brake light, it's got different connector pieces, so I can't just pull it off and put my spoiler on there.
Yeah.
I actually, I would have to fill holes.
Right.
So, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But, because the third brake light doesn't work anyway.
Yeah. Surprised you don't get in trouble for that drive down the road.
They don't care.
Yeah. That's true. The vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that year. I don't even think
a lot of times they'll say, "Well, if you put it on there, you have to have it," or something like that.
Yeah. It's
so
not even
anyway, so this was a how long of a process was this?
This is about from July, August, September, October, November. So like a 5-month long process. It started the beginning of July. It ended essentially. Like I said, I painted the day before Thanksgiving, and I flipped the spoiler over Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you so this is a big project.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, you had to replace your flywheel.
In the middle of it, I had to replace my flywheel. In the middle of it, I bought another car. Like I said, I was still driving it to and from work. This car has spent almost no time officially down. It did spend about 2 weeks down once it got painted for the paint to cure. Because November, December, rain, if that paint doesn't cure right, your whole paint job's screwed.
It's toast.
Yeah.
So, you at least tried to. Yeah. And, I mean, you drove it here tonight. It looks, the paint's still holding.
Yeah. There's a couple little nicks and scrapes and some other stuff. And
it's probably a little soft.
Yeah. I wish I would have gotten like a little touch-up spray can or something from them, but I just didn't. I spent $150 on paint and hardener and whatever else goes into paint.
And any paint guy will tell you went cheap.
Yeah.
And
no, they told this is the stuff they put on school buses.
Yeah.
I told them, I'm like, I literally, when I went in there, it's Sherwin-Williams. They actually have an auto paint store in Tacoma. I told the guy, I'm like, hey, I need something of decent quality that's not rattle can, something higher than that, but it's coming off in a couple of years.
So you also bought the spray gun.
I bought the spray gun.
And learned how
to spray my.
You shot your own car here. I mean,
I shot my own car. This is my first time ever shooting a car.
And this is one coat, no sand.
This is one coat, no sanding, no buffing, no. This is just literally spray and
right. Go. So I mean, a body guy ought to at least give you some credit here.
Oh yeah.
First time ever. This is your one coat. I
had a guy that paints boats offer me a job off of seeing that, off of going like, you did one coat.
Yeah, it's one coat. That's actually pretty good. So
prep work is key.
Yeah. So what's the next plan? Because I think we're pretty much up to date right now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're pretty much up to date. I think there's
been a couple of things. You've done some interior work.
Mm-hmm. There's some interior projects. A lot of it I just kind of stole the interior from the 88 and dropped it into the 85.
You got new seats for Christmas.
New seats for Christmas. It made it to its first car show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's cool. It was a little car show with only a few people coming in.
Oh, yeah. There was only we had 6 or 7 Firebirds or something. Mm-hmm. So, something.
Cool.
And it probably won't make it to its next one until it gets a new engine. Or I get a wild hair up my ass and get a weekend off.
So, my question is, are you going to do more body work first, or are you going to be looking at that engine? I mean, the engine's a huge deal.
It is.
It's a big money thing.
We're
the engine's a huge money thing.
We're talking. I keep trying to say 3 to 5 grand, but in reality, the engine is probably 5 plus.
Because your plan is a...
My plan is a 383, and actually, if I can do it, I wanted an LS base 383, and that's about 5 grand. And then you're talking another grand for the fuel injection. You're talking I gotta put a new exhaust system on it. About $1,500 to run wiring. Because when I put a new engine in, I'm doing all new wiring.
Yep, new harness.
Gotta figure out how to plumb the fuel tank.
Right.
And before all that, I gotta change out the rear end so it's a posi and disc brakes.
So...
Yeah, steps.
Yeah, you got steps. So, I mean, so probably what's next?
Probably, honestly, what's next. So I'm sitting there doing the headliner, so I think I'm doing the interior at the same time. Really, right now, it's saving up money. I'm at that point where it's no longer $5, $15, $30 projects. It's, rear end is a couple grand.
Yeah.
If I go with a decent one, which is one not out of a junkyard.
Right.
Engine, like I said, is a few grand, so it's...
You got some work.
I got some work. It might be sitting.
Anyway,
well, not sitting, but
no, it's not going to be sitting. But the projects, it might be a while before we do another episode. But so anyway, but it's been a lot of fun.
It has.
It has, and we actually haven't done an episode in quite a while.
Yeah, well, life
got in the way, and I got active at church, and she was like, should I come to the video? And I'm like,
I need to go practice.
I need to practice. I need to practice guitar because I found out I'm playing guitar 2 days ago, and they have all new songs. So so I wasn't able to do things and stuff like that. But anyway, so here we are.
Yep.
Righteous. High five. Well done. It's going to be a while before the next thing, and I hope she. I'm going to try to get her set up with a little bit of camera setup to a certain extent, so that
we can actually get live shots.
We'll get some actual video footage of some of the stuff she's doing while she's doing it. And odds are pretty good you won't want your kids watching those.
I cuss while working on my car.
She cusses while doing anything, so it's all good.
But extremely while working on my car.
Yeah, but it becomes
tools might get thrown.
Yeah.
But I usually stop before we get to that point.
Yeah, that'll damage the body. They might actually damage the body work that you're not willing to do.
They bounce funny.
They do. Tools bounce weird. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining us, and leave your comments down below, please. Make sure you check out some of the other ones. This is going to go in with a playlist of others, and make sure you check out the others. This has been a big process for her.
Still sticking with it.
Still sticking with it, and really only got busy doing the actual process here a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And
only officially started.
And doing it on a shoestring budget while driving the car too.
While driving the car.
So you got to give her some credit here. So because there's a lot to going on. So if anybody has a nice 383 stroker you want to donate,
preferably working and no problems.
Well,
but I can tear it down and rebuild it.
We can do a rebuild. Actually, I think a rebuild would be kind of cool. So if it's rebuildable, I think that's if you're going to give it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Quit complaining. So if you got a 383 stroker, drop inside this thing. Let us know. She'll start the process of tearing it down and rebuilding it.
And I'll videotape it.
And she'll videotape it. And we'll have all kinds of stuff going on. I'll grab a new GoPro for her or something tough that she can they can handle a tool getting thrown at her from time to time.
It can fall into the engine and get out.
It could happen. So hey, but thanks a lot for stopping and checking this out, and be sure to check out some of the other stuff we got going on.
Hey, bye.
Bye.